Today we have experiment number 9 to test out. It looks like 6 this way, but it's actually a 9. It has a candle on it. Let's see what we get inside for today's experiment. Ooh, today's experiment is really cool. I thought it seemed kind of heavy, but not as heavy as our usual boxes that we get. So it seems like why we get 3 dies inside of here. So every box, you're going to get everything that you'll need in every box to do that experiment. Besides other things like a fork, a spoon, stuff like that. But people have that around their house, so it's like common household stuff. Anyway, so pigments. So they aren't food coloring, but they're like, how do I explain this? They're like food coloring, but they're not food coloring. They're like paint. They are like liquefied paint. If you can imagine paint in liquid form, like water, and then add food coloring to water, that's basically what this is. So we have some blue, some green, which looks, oh yeah, it is green, and some yellow, which it kind of looks like orange, but alrighty. These are 10 ml, and these are not edible. So these kind of look like paints / food colorings, but they're not. These are pigments. So be very careful with these because these will stain just like food coloring, I imagine. This is basically liquid paint. So if you do not know what liquid paint is, imagine the best way I can describe it is imagine using water and then, imagine putting water in a cup and then adding food dye to that water. That's the best I can describe these liquid pigments as. That's the best I can describe them as is watered down food coloring or water and then food coloring. It's the best I can describe it as. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for this experiment. No wonder we got little pigment bottles. If you've ever done this experiment, it's so freaking cool. Basically, this is a rainbow milk experiment. If you've ever done it, it's so cool. I did something like this in 6th grade, only it was with Skittles. You put the Skittles on a plate, and then you pour hot water onto it, and then the Skittles go melt, or not melt, but they all the Skittles like all the dye from the Skittles, it meets in the middle of the plate. It looks super cool. If you've ever done that experiment, that's the most coolest experiment ever. So we're basically doing that. I call it Rainbow Skittles experiment, because I did that in 6th grade in history class, and I loved it. So yeah, this is basically the exact same thing, only we're using, instead of Skittles, we're using milk, and instead of water, we're using pigment. So let me grab, hold on, this. There you guys go. Sorry. Does it say one? So yes, every number day comes with what you will need. All the materials you'll need. But there are extra stuff you'll need, like a plate, a bowl, different stuff like that, but that's like common household stuff. You may even need milk for this experiment. I mean, for different experiments. And this is one of them. So yes, this does require milk, so make sure you have milk on hand. I just have the Simply Natural. Yeah, natural. This is an Aldi brand, I believe. Milk, whole milk. Expires in January 12th, 2023, so we're good. It is December 9th when I'm recording this. It may be different for you guys, depending on what day you are watching this, but right now, it's December 9th, so this is good. So yes, we'll add some milk into a plate, so hold on. This is what, we're gonna need another plate, or Favorite plate. Because when I did this in 6th grade science, remember, it was with Skittles and boiling, or not quote unquote boiling, but hot water. So we used paper plates, and then we put the Skittles on the paper plate, and then our teacher poured hot water into the center of it, and then all the dye from Skittles went into the middle, and it did like a rainbow. We also did in 6th grade history, we did like a marshmallow tower, and then with toothpicks, so we had to like build we were in like teams, and we had to like we were in groups in our history class, and we had to like use toothpicks and marshmallows. She gave us toothpicks and marshmallows for each group in our history class, and we had to it was like 4 or 5 people group, but we had to make like what's that called? We had to make a tower with marshmallows and toothpicks, and then if it fell, we would be not eliminated, but we would have to redo it, and then whoever made the tallest tower won. Of course, it was not our team, the team I was in. It was someone else's team, but those 2 experiments were really fun. And if you do want to do those at home, the one that is the Skittle rainbow only requires hot water and Skittles and a plate, and then the marshmallow one requires toothpicks and marshmallows. If you do want to do those experiments at home, I would actually recommend you guys test those 2 ones out, because then you guys might get a feel for those 2 experiments of what we did in 6th grade. Not science, history, and it was really fun. Anyway, so I have that's a lot of talking. Anyway, I have my instructions here, so let's get started. I have my pigments, which are not act as, but these are kind of like in place of the Skittles, kind of. These are kind of like the pigments that, well, not these, but like there's dye in the Skittles, so when you add I'm trying to think. So when you add hot water into the center of the plate, it will the Skittle dye will the dye in the Skittles will come into the center. That was the really cool experiment. Also, if you don't want to do this type of experiment, you can do this experiment at home if you want to. You need pigments. Pigment / food dye and milk. If you don't want to do this experiment, you can also do a instant snow experiment. All you need for that is diaper polymer, the stuff in diapers that absorbs the liquid, and water, basically instant snow. If you want to do these 2 experiments, there's also another one that you can use with milk, and that is use milk and then use a cotton swab, and then you're kind of like making like a planet effect. So yeah, there's this type, but then you can also do a different milk experiment with food dye, but also with milk, and then stir it up with like a cotton swab, and then you'll get this like really cool like planet effect. There's also oobleck you can make, which is cornstarch and water. So many fun different sizes of experiments you can make. Anyway, so first thing we're gonna do is it says pour the milk into the bowl. So we have a decent amount of milk in here. I'm not trying to use it all. So I don't want to use it all. So what I'm gonna do, handy dandy measuring spoons, because again I don't want to spill. I'm gonna use my measuring spoons. Again, it does not state measuring spoons, but just because I don't want to spill any, but I also don't want to use the whole entire container of milk. Measuring spoons it is. Which if you've noticed in a lot of these science videos, I use measuring spoons because they help me measure out stuff. Of course, I tell you guys what measurements I'm using. But again, they don't, in the instructions, they don't say to use measuring spoons. I just do it. You don't have to. It's just an extra step if you want to, but it's just, if you want to measure it out, you can. measure each thing out. If you don't want to measure it out and you just can eyeball it, that's perfect. Like my mom is really good with eyeballing. When she measures, I am not good with eyeballing. Anyway, so they're using a bowl. I'm using a plate. This is kind of like the plate that I used for the Skittles experiment in 6th grade. Yeah, 6th grade history. You can use a bowl for any of these, for the instant snow experiment, for the milk experiments, for Mundo, Moonsand, whatever you can use a bowl. I'm using a plate, or the Skittles experiment, or the sorry if there looks like glare. The sun is legit right there. But you can use a plate or a bowl. I use styrofoam plates so that you guys can kind of see what I am doing. And so that it's not kind of enclosed in a bowl. So, anyway, there's our instructions. And it, again, with a lot of these ingredients, it does not say how much of that certain ingredient to add. So, I just kind of do the measurement that I think is necessary. So, first up, it says pour the milk into a bowl. So, I'm going to grab my 1 teaspoon. No, let's do 1.5 tablespoon, 7.5 ml, which is this one right here. Again, Mom is really good with eyeballing stuff. I cannot eyeball. That's why I use measuring. No, I do not do. I use measuring spoons. So grab our milk and just pour. Okay, these are not helping one bit, and it's gonna take way more time if I use the teaspoons and tablespoons more than if I just use one of these big bad boys right here. Big bad boys. This will transfer the milk super easily onto the plate, and then I'll be done. Teaspoons and tablespoons take so long to just pour milk, pour it on the plate, pour milk, it gets aggravating and it takes more time. I want to be done with this, so and then have my mom suffer through all my videos. So, yeah. So yeah, 1 cup, 250 ml. This is what I used and I did yesterday because it helps and it's really good. If you do want to make Moonsand or Mundo, I would recommend you use the teaspoons and tablespoons. If you don't, use measuring cups. Oh yeah. I said I want to get done with this video so I can make you suffer through my videos.
Oh joy! I love video suffering.
So yes, if you are doing Mundo or Moonsand, make sure you use teaspoons or tablespoons. Since I'm using milk, if I just use about 6 or 8 of these 1.5 tablespoons, 7.5 mLs, this will take me forever to fill up this plate with milk. So I give up on that. So instead I'm going to be using an actual measuring cup. This will get it done fast, and so that I don't have to just stand here, pour milk into the plate, pour milk into the measuring cup, pour it on the plate. Now, this I used for yesterday's experiment, and I've used for a lot of my experiments, and they help so much. This gives the right amount so that I'm just able to pour it right on into the plate, and it fills up really fast, and then it will fill up the plate with the adequate amount of milk. There we go. So yeah, but if you are doing Mundo, Moonsand, Cloud Dough, anything like that, recommend using tablespoons or teaspoons. But I'm going to use measuring cup because it's just faster to measure out the milk. You can use the teaspoon or tablespoons if you want to. I'm using a cup, a measuring cup, and this is the 1 cup 250 ml. But again, if you're doing Mundo, Cloud Sand, Connexon, anything like that, Play-Doh, anything like that, make your own Play-Doh, anything like that. But I recommend using measuring spoons, which will be either teaspoon or tablespoon. But if you're doing a milk experiment or Skittles experiment or whatever, I recommend using measuring cup, and it's one. So this is 1 cup. This equals 1 cup. So it's 250 ml. So I'm kind of putting it down low so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm not using all of it, but I have a good amount in my cup. So this is yep, and because since the milk's cold, it makes the measuring cup cold as well. So again, you don't have to use this. This has milk. This is just how much I prefer. So I use 1 cup, 150 ml. So now that that's done, I'm gonna put the milk over to the side. Again, you don't have to use that much milk. I just decided to use that much milk. If you want to use teaspoons or tablespoons to measure out the milk, you can. So, next it says, drip. I think they meant drop. But anyway, drip different colors of pigment into the mix. So, now that we have our milk mix, which is very cool by the way, it says, if you can tell, a lot of these science boxes, I think they mess up on their wording, if you can't tell, with a lot of what they say in the instructions of a lot of these boxes, if you cannot tell. So, yeah, it says drip different colors of pigment into the milk. So, okay, there we go. I'm gonna do about 4 of these in different places. Or maybe more. See, they do give you a lot. Oh my gosh. I forgot. Usually I have the light on behind me. So, they actually give you a lot of pigment in each of these little bottles or whatever. Oh my gosh, come on. Oh, there we go. These are really tight on there. Now again, they say after you put in the pigment, they say drop in a few different colors of pigment into the milk. Then they said to put in dishwashing detergent. I'm not going to do that. That's a step that if you want to do that, you can. I'm not going to, because it already mixes really well. If you cannot see the pigment blend on this, it's actually working out really well. So I don't know. I don't really know the need for, or no, I don't really need the use. I don't need the use for milk. I mean, not milk. Dishwashing liquid, because it's already blending already. All I will be doing after I add in this last pigment, grabbing a fork or a spoon and stirring this up. It says dip cotton in the dishwashing liquid. And something amazing will happen. So, okay, there we go. These are squirt on there really well. why not use a tiny? It does say use. I will use dish liquid. It says to. I will. Palmolive. Well, I should have had you guys catch that. I put in a few drops of the Palmolive, and or more than a few drops, and it legit, and the color was right in the middle. That kind of like made it like not concentrated, but it pushed over all the colors onto the edge of this, and I dropped all of the. I dropped like 6, 7, 8 drops of the Palmolive dish soap or dish washing liquid into the middle, and now all these colors, if you can see that, they're in the edge, or not edge, in the in a circle instead of in the middle. Now again, it did say add dishwashing liquid with a cotton swab. I'm not that type of person. I said I was not going to use dish liquid, and then what did I do? I used the dish liquid. It does kind of say dip the cotton in a dishwashing liquid. I did not do that. Instead of putting dishwashing liquid, I did put dishwashing liquid even though I said I was not going to. Instead, I did not use the concept. I just put the dish liquid directly into the milk, or above. I kind of like did it at like an angle, and it's now starting to, if you can see this, the colors are starting to kind of like mix, if you can see that. That's really cool. And again, if you don't want, you can do it with different colors. These are just the colors that they provided me. I'm pretty sure you could do it with other colors if you wanted to. But yeah, you do get a lot of this stuff. And this one is one you could do over again, because all you would need is milk and some little pigments or food coloring and some dish soap. That's really all you need. So because a lot of the experiments that I'm doing, they are really only one-time experiments, except for the ceramic spoon experiment. So most of the experiments that I've done are only one time. This one you can do over and over and over again. All you need is milk, dishwashing liquid, and food dye or food coloring. And I don't even think you really need dishwashing liquid, but I think if you want to add that, you can. But I think that's what makes this like color mixing thing happen. If I did not have dishwashing liquid, I think that the color mixing would not really happen. But who knows? Oh my gosh. Hold on, guys. I'm stirring it, and I thought that it was going to like overflow because of the dishwashing stuff that I put in, but no, it's actually. I don't know if this is because of how much this. I don't really know. Yeah. So it looks more blue on camera, or like teal, but it's a really nice mint. Yeah. No. It's a really nice mint green color. You might not be able to see it, but it is really nice off camera. It probably looks like a teal on camera, but it's actually a really nice color. And I'm pretty sure, depending on what type of color you add, and the types of color and the amount of color, I'm pretty sure your well, not ratio, but your whatever color it turns into will be different than mine, depending on what food color what colors of pigment or food color you use, and also what type of how much of each drop you use. But I thought that it was gonna overflow once I had the dishwashing liquid. It didn't, and I love this color. It's like a mintish color. So I actually really like that. All we needed was milk, dishwashing liquid, and pigment / food coloring. It says basically the experiment principle that we basically did is that it says milk is denser than pigment. So pigment can float on the surface of milk. After the addition of detergent, the surface tension of pigment decreased rapidly and formed a diffusion effect. So, I think that one was actually really cool. We've had some okay ones so far, but this one I think was actually really cool. Again, they said to use a cotton swab. If you don't have that, you can use a toothpick, or not a toothpick. Don't stab yourself. A popsicle stick, a spoon, a fork, any of that will work. So, yeah. Let me put this all back. And again, I can do this experiment again because all I need is milk, dishwashing liquid, and pigment. And of course a spoon.